try to help her see the purpose of it. So I'm just going to get her to lope a couple strides here. There we go.
You mentioned yesterday too about giving a horse a job. Heard the same thing from Dale Montgomery with the dogs.
Yeah.
And this mare has seen every inch of this round pen yesterday already. So unless you create an interest in something, she's not going to pick up on anything more interesting in here on her own.
Exactly. Now I'm going to put these bags on her again just to review. Like I said, we could probably just jump on her and go to riding, but these are just little things that I've started to add to my program just to get horses used to stuff, right? Because there's always stuff that's going to happen. And I don't like surprises, and horses don't like surprises, so we'll introduce it to them gradually. And then if something were to happen that she was to get scared, she's already got a little bit of confidence. And there you go. Now when you're doing this, you got to be careful, because she gets scared of it on that side and runs towards me. Then there's always a chance that we could get in a little bit of trouble. And those of you who were here last night with Andrew's deal, she was talking about sanctuary. Those horses find a safe place. And it's natural for those horses, if they can't find a safe place someplace else, they're going to come to us, right? And these young horses, they do very quickly get comfortable being with us, and we become their sanctuary, and they will jump right on top of us, trying to get away from that trouble. So you've got to be able to be a little bit quick on your feet, and definitely be alert, pay attention, know your ability. Now, of course, like if I had a broken leg or something, I wouldn't want to be in here because I can't get out of the way fast enough, right? I'd adjust my program to where I could stay safe. There we go.
I thought it was interesting yesterday, Rod, I don't know if you were watching, Jamie Lee put a blue tarp out, and the horse didn't want to get close to it at first, but it would have only taken about 2 or 3 minutes, and that would have been a safe place for it to just stand on.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, tarps are a good thing, good tool to use to get these horses over that fear factor. I like to use this tarp on the end of a rope. Now, I don't know if any of you have watched or paid attention to a football game, but Wyatt here, he plays football, and sometimes they stick him on the line, and he's not a real big guy, but he is strong, he can hit hard, and they'll stick him on the line. He's defensive tight end? Huh? End, yeah. And so he's usually going up against somebody that's at least 100 pounds bigger than him, but he can run in there, and as they come to block him, he can move their arm out of the way and get around him, right? And it's the same thing with these horses. As they come towards us, if we get our arm up there, we can kind of brush them out of the way. So you kind of got to learn how to use your ability, your strength, and because we can't outpower these horses, we gotta just use the little bit of strength that we do have and our momentum to move them around. There we go. That's a good girl.
Another interesting thing, Rod, that you mentioned that, there's a difference between hitting a horse or having them run into your arm.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's hard for some people to notice that difference, right?
That's right. Yeah. Very hard for most people.
I mean, and I know there's some people that say, well, I didn't hit that guy, he ran into my fist. But, so there's a fine line between that, right?
There is a fine line.
And I guess a good way to look at it is, are we on the offensive or on the defensive, right? If we're blocking that horse to protect ourselves, that's more of a defensive move, right? But if we're coming at that horse and I want to hurt you, that's more of an offensive. And we don't want to destroy the confidence in that horse. We want them to be respectful. We want them to have that confidence. But we don't want them to be fearful of us.
I think it's interesting because, you know, just a person's approach alone can make a huge difference. The horse, you know, you mentioned it yesterday. A horse knows when you know, they know when you don't know, or what you don't know. So they know if the intent is for you to hit them out of anger, out of frustration or whatever, or they know that they ran into your shoulder or ran into your elbow or something.
Right.
They know the difference.
Good girl. And a good way to maybe demonstrate that, I'll just do it here for a second. Okay, I want this mare to go to the right, and I'm going to stay on her left side. So I'm going to just put my hands up here and just kind of block her. And I want her to go that direction, okay? She's actually doing it not too bad. I don't want her to go forward too much, so I'll back her off. Ask her to go to the right. I'll back her off. Ask her to go to the right. Now, if she were to get rude and come towards me, then I just block her, right? So we'll go to the left. Maybe she'll be a little bit stiffer this way. Okay, she doesn't want to move, so I'll just bump her a little bit.
Thing at the end.
Back her off. Ask her to go that direction.
Okay, yeah, we're starting a horse now. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay.
That's a good demonstration, Rod, because I think everyone here can see she's not becoming resentful.
Right.
She knows you're not doing out of anger or anything, but she also knows to move away from the space that you just defined or set
Exactly,
up.
yeah. So she's going to learn to move away from that energy that I presented, right? Now, supposing I was to, you know, I'm swinging my rope, okay? I'm on her, I'm swinging my rope, and I'm not real handy with it, and I whack her upside the head, okay? I'm sorry, okay? She's going to might be a little bit head shy. So the only way we can fix that is to go back and, you know what, I really didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. And so this is what she's going to remember, right? So we're going to follow up, because we are going to make mistakes. We're going to pull a little bit too hard on them. We might bump them in the head accidentally. You know, maybe they're getting in the trailer and they whack their head, okay? They're going to remember that I get into the trailer and it's going to hurt, right? So if we immediately take some time and rub that hurt away, then they can kind of get over it, right? But if we never take the time to fix the problem, same as if we're deworming a horse. You see a lot of people that try to deworm a horse and they just take that stick of dewormer and they just shove it in that horse's mouth and they're like that, right? Whereas if we would take a little bit of time and just rub that horse's face, stick our finger in their mouth, get them used to that, okay? She can handle that, touch her tongue, give them the dewormer, and then we continue to rub their mouth, stick our finger in their mouth, and so that deworming doesn't become a bad thing, right? There's nothing wrong with that. We could deworm this mare very easily, right? And she's going to lick her lips, and play with her tongue, and get used to that. Now, can everybody see here? Here. Let's back her up. Okay, now, as we back this horse up, as her feet move, and as she gives to a little bit of pressure and understands that feel, we automatically release that pressure, right? We want her to understand that as soon as she gives to a feel, there's going to be a reward. Now, when I bridle this horse, I'm going to put a bridle on her here in a second. I'm just going to pull her back over here. So this is a good place to be. Okay? Pull her back over here.
Yeah, basically that applies to the same thing. You call it a safe place or a sanctuary or whatever name you want to call it. But they soon forget about the little bit of aggravation they immediately get because they're not aware of it or they're not comfortable or used to it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't take long for them to accept it.
Right. If we continually try to make the wrong thing hard and the right thing easy, pretty soon they're always looking for an easier way, right? So we want her to have her head right there. I don't want their head too low. I don't want it too high. Okay? So we're going to bridle this mare. Okay? Rub her ears a little bit. Take the bridle off. There we go. Now I'm going to ride this mare with the bridle today. So she's got to learn how to accept that pressure or that pull, that feel from a bit, right? So I got no reins on my bridle right now. We're going to do the same thing as we did with the rein, with the rope. I'm going to pull her back over here. And the way horses get good is by repeatedly doing the correct thing, right? Practice doesn't make perfect. It's perfect practice makes perfect, right? So we make sure they do it right every time.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I have to laugh because I've heard so many people say, well, I practice this all the time.
Yeah.
I know, but it's not the right way.
Yeah.
That's why it's never going to work if you keep practicing that way.
Yeah, exactly. I have a quote that I try to live by. I'm not very good at it, but I try to live by it. And it's just simply, do your best. And I want to emphasize that it be your very best. We are too prone to be satisfied with mediocre performance, and we are capable of doing so much better. You know, so often we get satisfied with, well, it'll do, right? It'll do. And then we never achieve the best that we can achieve. When I first started working with Mark a little bit, you know, I'm not a real competitive person, and Mark is a little bit more competitive than me. And but as I was working with Mark, I realized that, you know what, I need to have a little bit more of a competitive nature about me, because it does encourage me to do my best, right? That competitive nature that we all have, that's there for a good reason, and that is to help us to do our best. If we do our best and we're satisfied with our best, then we can be happy. It might not be as good as the next guy, but if it's our best, it's good enough. And maybe tomorrow it'll get a little bit better. We continue to practice and work on it, then our best becomes really good. I was listening to a talk by Oprah Winfrey, actually, and she said, if you're always worried about being the best, then you're always looking behind you, seeing who's coming to run you over, right? But if you just worry about being your best, it doesn't matter who's running up behind you, because you're just doing your best. And so I know there's lots of people out there that, you know, they're better horsemen, they're better marketers, they're better at a lot of things. But as long as I continue to do my best, I can be happy and satisfied with that. And like I say, my best, you know, next year hopefully will be better than my best today, right? Okay, now I just hooked that halter shank onto that bit, and I'm just going to take a hold of her, and I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure there and see if she can understand that feel. So she's just slowly coming towards me. Okay, there's not a lot of fight there right now. I'm just going to bring it towards me. As she comes, I just have a soft feel here and just allow her to follow that feel over here towards me. There. Now, I have always been a snaffle bit guy. I love a snaffle bit. I know there's lots of people that like a hackamore, and I like a hackamore too. I've just never used one enough to be able to be really efficient with it, okay? But I love the looks of a hackamore. I love the job that people get done with a hackamore. I can really appreciate it. And I just haven't used one enough to the point where I'm as proficient as I am with the snaffle bit. But I do really admire and appreciate a hackamore. And just the looks of a hackamore to me is awesome. I think they're just a real Western looking piece of equipment. They look awesome, especially if you get one, like there's been quite a few around here, people making Bozels. I mean, these